So, this one's going to be just kind of a quick little video here on how to install an Apexi SAFC into a Volkswagen OBD1 VR6. If you Google this sort of thing, all you can really find, all that I was able to find, is that basically people have done it, but there's no real easy write-up or, you know, just kind of picture on these wires go here sort of thing. So I'm just going to put this out so it kind of helps some people out if anybody decides to go this route. Also, disclaimer, I know that there's a lot of better suited methods for tuning these things, way better. This isn't kind of why we're doing this at all. I would not recommend this to be your sole method of tuning. The reason we're doing this is there's an old school C2 Motorsports 36 tune on here, and we have idle air control deleted, and kind of just a combination of those two, from what he tells me at least, is that's why this thing runs really rich at idle. So the SAFC is going to allow us to, at idle, kind of dial back the fuel a little bit and just trim it out a little bit. Also, you know, if we decide to, he can go ahead and turn fuel up at certain spots. And yeah, so it's just going to give us a little more options on top of the tune that's in the ECU, just to kind of dial things in. So just wanted to get that out of the way so I don't get blown up in the comments. But yeah, so this is kind of how we did it. From the SAFC, there is basically, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From the SAFC, there's basically 6 wires plus the power, so 7 altogether, but 6 main ones that you have to wire in up into like the ECU area type stuff. So I'm just going to start with the grounds, I guess. There's a couple different grounds you probably could use. The one that I decided to use is this one right here. It has brown with a black line through it. It's next to an orange with a yellow stripe, or red with a yellow stripe. Actually, it looks orange on my camera, but if I look at it, it's that's a red one. So it's brown with a black stripe. That's what I use for the ground. And from the SAFC, you're going to have 2 ground wires. You're going to have a black ground wire and a black and a brown ground wire. And the way you have to wire those in, and it's pretty crucial from everything, like in the directions and everything I've heard. So the brown and black wire, which is the ground from the ECU, you take the brown wire from the SAFC and tap that into the ground closer to the ECU, and you take the black ground wire from the SAFC and tap that onto the same wire but further away from the ECU, or on the engine side of the harness. So I have a little diagram here that can kind of explain it maybe. So you can see how there's the solid wire going straight through, and the brown wire is tapped in close to where it says ECU, and the black wire is tapped in close to where it says engine. That's basically, you have to do that. Like I said, keep sure that you have that ground kept solid. Don't like break it. And yeah, so that is those 2 wires from the SAFC. Next we'll go ahead and do the gray wire, which is, what's the gray wire? I found my sketchy notes. So the gray wire is going to be your throttle position sensor signal. So gray wire from the SAFC harness is going to go to green with a white stripe from the engine harness. It's on like the same row of wires, or no, it's not. It's in the middle row of wires, and it's next to a blue with a red stripe through it, looks like. Alright, so the gray wire coming from the SAFC is going to the green with a white stripe on the VR6 harness. And you're just going to want to tap that one in like so. And the next one, so we got brown, gray, and black all out of the way. The next one is going to be green from the SAFC harness. That's going to be your RPM tack signal. And that's going to go to the green with a black stripe on the VR harness. You can see there. And can't really see where that's coming from. It's sucked up into the wires. I'm not going to tear everything apart, but it's a green with a black stripe for the RPM signal. And then the last two that I have going in here, I was having a hard time finding the correct signal wire coming from the ECU. These are for the MAF signal. So what I did was I traced it back, and he has his MAF extended. The MAF wires come up to here. So I had him, before I installed the SAFC, I had him start the car, and then I came up here and traced all of the wires. This is another one for the MAF right here. And took the multimeter and just tested to figure out which one was the signal wire from the MAF going back to the ECU. And I was getting the signal from the black wire, which I'm pretty sure, can't really see down in there, but the plug, I'm pretty sure it's a black wire. If you're having a hard time like me, you can go ahead and do the same thing. Start the car, and then you should be able to like probe the MAF outputs to figure out which one is going to give you your signal. You should have like a 1 volt-ish signal at idle, and then you'll see it go up as you raise the throttle. So basically what you have to do with that one is, once you find the signal wire, is cut it in half, not like with the ground wire where you had to splice it in. This one you can go ahead and cut right in half, and I have a diagram I'll show you for that too, because I suck at explaining things. So for this one, you're going to have, wait for it to focus, you're going to have a yellow and a white wire coming from the SAFC, and you're going to have that wire up on top represents that black signal wire that's for the MAF. So you're going to cut it, and you're going to put the side of the signal wire that goes to the ECU to the yellow wire to the SAFC, and the other side of the black wire that was coming from the MAF goes to the white wire from the SAFC. And basically what that does, if you don't know, basically the SAFC, it takes the input from the MAF and disrupts that, and that's how you get a different fuel reading. So it essentially, that, like I said, it's it's like a 0 to like 4 or 5 volt signal for the MAF. In layman's terms, it basically will take that and send a lower or higher volt signal back to the ECU to correlate more or less air going through the MAF, which is in turn, gonna put more or less fuel into the motor. Right? That's how it works, I'm pretty sure. So, and then aside from that, the one last wire I didn't explain is the red, the power wire. Go ahead and just put that to any switch or wherever you want to for power. We have it on the ignition. So, yeah, I hope that helps anybody that needs help putting one of these things in here. Like I said, I had a little bit of a hard time just kind of figuring out wiring with diagrams and whatnot. I couldn't get like a good like diagram of the ECU that like clearly explained everything. But yeah, that's gonna about do it. Yeah, if you guys are new, if seeing this video, go ahead and subscribe. I don't know, I build stuff. And if you're not, if you're familiar with the channel, well, I guess I'll see you guys next time.